Artifacts in Call of Dragons are one of the most valuable items in the game. Understanding which artifacts you should invest your time and money is super crucial for the progression of your account. Today we are going to try to understand which archer artifacts are the priorities, which ones are the best ones, and of course which heroes we should equip those legendary artifacts in the game. Hopefully, after watching this video, it will be easier for you to strategize the game and spend the resources which are super important in games like Call of Dragons. So, let's not waste too much time and let's understand which artifacts are the priorities and which artifacts are not so good. First of all, we have to start with the normal artifacts, which are gettable from the normal draws. Basically, one of the most free-to-play friendly artifacts in the game. Such as, for example, Shadowblades, right? Shadowblades is an artifact for the beginners. Basically, almost all the players are using Shadowblades at the start of the game, and actually, that's how you should look at the normal draw artifacts, right? It's good for the beginner times, for the early game stages, but not so great in the late stage. Of course, Shadowblades has offensive stats, which is of course crucial in open field PvP because, well, you want to have damage or at least supportive skills which will increase the damage of your legions. So, Shadowblades has Marksman unit attack, Legion attack, and nothing really special, just deals pure damage to your opponents, 5 enemy legions, 3.6k damage, and that's it, right? Of course, if we are rating Shadowblades and comparing to the other artifacts, for sure this one should not be your priority, right? You should not try to unlock Shadowblades from the Forge of Light or any other events in the game, right? And of course, Shadowblades is not even in Forge of Light. So, Shadowblades should not be your priority in the game because it's one of the most basic artifacts which just deals damage, and of course it will increase the merits which you are getting with the Shadowblades, but when you are starting to go to the mid game and late game, of course there are way more powerful artifacts in Call of Dragons than Shadowblades. So this artifact should not be your priority, but of course you kinda have to be happy at the start of the game when you are going to unlock this artifact. Of course, without additional effect, this artifact is weak for the archer gameplay in mid game and in late game. The next artifact, which is another one from the normal draws, that's of course Heart of Kamasi, right? This is the supportive artifact, a Legion defense artifact, right? You are not getting offensive stats. Marksman unit defense, Legion defense. Basically, you will survive more with this artifact than you were surviving with Shadowblades. But the most unique feature of Heart of Kamasi is of course the skill, which is Earthen Judgment. Grants Legion and 2 nearby friend legions, which means 3 legions. Physical Keen, which is 30% physical attack bonus and 30% normal attack damage bonus, right? Actually, if you are going to make Heart of Kamasi level 5, my advice would be to equip this artifact to a support march and try to buff your offensive hero pairs with the Heirs of Judgment, because trust me, 30% attack bonus and 30% normal attack damage bonus is a huge stat advantages for the archer gameplay, right? Because these two stats are primary stats which you want to have high on the archer gameplay, and of course all the marches which are dealing damage by normal attack will benefit hugely with this artifact. But at the same time, we can't really say that Heart of Kamasi should be your primary choice or should be your artifact which you should invest your gems or time or money. Basically, this is the normal draw artifact which you for sure are going to unlock, but if we are comparing to Shadowblades, basically, you can use Heart of Kamasi in mid game and late game also because of the stats which we are getting from the Heart of Kamasi, right? The hero pair which you are going to equip Heart of Kamasi won't gonna get a lot of merits, but all the other legions which will get this amount of buffs for sure will benefit and for sure will be crucial for their merits and damage in open field PvP. Of course, there are many more artifacts which are more crucial, and we're gonna start moving forward, right? The next one, which is Rattle Spear, one of the first exclusive artifacts for the Archer gameplay. This is the Marksman PvP and Assault artifact. Basically, unit attack, legion attack, offensive stats, right? But Rattle Spear's most unique feature is, of course, the skill, right? Strikes 3 times to the designated arc, dealing damage 2.5k damage if it will be on level 5, and also inflicts slow 20% march speed reduction for 3 seconds. In general, slows are pretty good for Archer gameplay, right? Now, the first strike has a short charge up. The direction of subsequent strikes can change depending on the target's location. Also, finally, exclusive artifacts have additional effects. When your legion inflicts a defense break on enemy legion, your legion gains 20% defense penetration for 7 seconds, right? Of course, this artifact has some pros and cons. Pros are for sure 20% defense penetration, especially amazing against infantry players, and we know how many infantry marches are around the open field PvP, right? So decreasing, like penetrating defense of infantry heroes is super crucial, especially in the era of our infantry mains in the game, right? One bad feature of this artifact is that whenever you are using Vicious Strike, you have to stand still. If you are going to move, this Vicious Strike will be cancelled and you won't gonna deal damage. At the one glance, you might say it's not a big deal, right? But honestly, this one reason made my March die a lot of time in open field PvP, because there are a lot of infantry, cavalry, mages, blinks, rushes. Also, we have slow march speed as an archer player, so this is a really bad, right? When you have to stand still in order to deal damage and apply debuffs from this artifact. And also, in order to fully get the strength of the Vicious Strike, you have to have defense break on your archer marches, right? And it means not every single hero or hero pairs will be able to fully use this artifact, right? The couple of heroes are Kinara for sure, and the Rattle Spear is basically the weapon of Kinara. And second hero, updated Sibyl, can easily use this artifact. Also, we have to say Nico, because Nico's first skill actually applies defense break on our opponents, and it means that we are going to get 20% defense penetration. So heroes are Inara, Sibyl, and Nico, which will fully use this artifact, and that's another reason why I can't really put Rattle Spear as a top tier artifact, because I believe top tier artifacts are universally used with many multiple hero pairs, or they have a super amazing unique additional effects, which is not the case in Rattle Spear's case, right? So Kinara, Nico, and Sibyl will be using this artifact, and of course it has a pretty nice stats, pretty nice buffs, but not the top tier or the best artifact in the game, right? Of course, we're gonna move forward and we're gonna check out other artifacts which are for the Archer gameplay. Goldcrest, right? Goldcrest came out when Syndron and Freygar was the new Archer heroes, basically G2. It's Marksman PvP control, but the stats are basically offensive, right? We have control talents on Goldcrest because the skill is control, right? Deals damage to the selected legion. Damage type is physical. Damage factor is quite high. Your legion gains haste, march speed increase plus 50% for 10 seconds. 10 seconds is a pretty nice timing, right? Now, also, additional effect, which is the unique feature of the Goldcrest, is that if Freygar is in your march and you are using Goldcrest, you're gonna deal damage and also you're gonna immobilize your opponent for 3 seconds. So, what are the pros and cons for this artifact? I guess we understand that you have to have Freygar, right? That's in some cases good, but in a lot of cases bad, right? Because when you are getting legendary artifact, especially as a free-to-play player, you want to be able to use on a many different heroes, but in Goldcrest case, you have to have Freygar. The pros of this artifact is this immobilized ability, especially amazing against infantry or cavalry if you are running, or maybe if you are catching your opponent. This is one of the most unique features in terms of archer gameplay for the archer artifact, so that's a pretty big pro when we are speaking about advantages and disadvantages of the Goldcrest and in general artifacts, right? How I would rate Goldcrest, I would not advise to go full on Goldcrest to make it level 5. I think if you're gonna unlock Goldcrest and have it on level 1, it will be good enough, right? But I guess you have to use Freygar in order to utilize the full strength of the Goldcrest. So, not the top tier artifact. I would not advise to put a lot of gems and money towards this artifact, right? Especially G2 legendary archer heroes are not as powerful as other ones, which is also a big factor. The next artifact which we have to speak is, of course, Viola's bow. This is the artifact which is the control artifact, not a single offensive stats. I know HP bonuses are amazing for archers, but of course we would like to have at least one offensive stat here, right? Terminating arrow deals diffuse damage to 5 enemy legion, which is good. 5 is good amount. Deals physical damage factor, and the damaged legions are sealed, cannot cast artifact skills for 10 seconds. I will be honest, this is not the most powerful artifact, not even average one. I would say it's a weak artifact. In my opinion, archer players should avoid investing in Viola's bow because, well, you need more from the archer artifacts than just HP stats and some silence for 10 seconds. Also, we have to remember we don't have additional effect on Viola's bow. You might say, alright, no additional effect, but at least we have silence, right? We have to compare to other artifacts. Other artifacts are having additional effects, which means they have more features, and without additional effect artifacts are of course way weaker. One good aspect, I believe Viola's bow can be used basically on every single archer hero pair, but the artifact itself will be pretty weak, which is neglecting the usage of the artifact, right? So my rating, not the artifact which you should invest your time, your money, or your gems towards Viola's bow, right? The next one, which we have to speak, is one of the newest artifacts in Call of Dragons for archer gameplay, Roaring Rager. Marksman PvP Assault, Marksman unit attack, Legion attack, which is great, offensive stats, and let's check out this skill which is called Flaming Fangs. Deals diffuse damage to 3 enemy legion in this circle. Additional effect, each volley fired reduces this artifact's skill cooldown by 3 seconds and increases Wilder's attack by 10%, physical attack by 10%. The skill damage factor towards 3 enemy legions are 4.8k damage. So, what are my thoughts regarding the Flaming Fangs, right? For sure, we have to mention that the one hero which will be using this artifact, because we have only one hero which has volley, is Ruby, right? I mentioned regarding other artifacts that when you can use artifact with multiple hero pairs is great. If you are using it only on one, it's average, right? But Flaming Fangs and Roaring Rager is a totally different topic. Now, reducing the artifact skill cooldown is one of the most unique additional effects in the game, right? Basically, you will be able to use this skill Flaming Fangs twice when you are using all the other artifacts skill once, right? That's the reason why we should forget that this artifact is great only on Ruby, simply because this is the uniquest skill effect which we have not only in terms of archers, but with mages, with cavalry, with infantry, with anything, right? So in some cases which we have such an unique skill effects with artifact that only that make this artifact one of the best artifacts which is in the game, right? Also, 4.8k skill damage factor is huge. So my rating towards Roaring Rager and Flaming Fangs, I believe all the free-to-play players and all the pay-to-play players, especially if you are Archer main, you want to have a Roaring Rager level 5. You want to have 10% attack bonus and you want to have 4.8k skill damage factor. Trust me, right now in Call of Dragons, G5 heroes are Ruby and Kylan, and for them this artifact is the perfect choice, which in my opinion that hero pair is the best merit getter hero pair for the Archer gameplay, which means Roaring Rager is one of the best Archer legendary artifacts in the game. So my advice, you have to unlock this artifact and you have to make this artifact level 5 because stats and the skill damage factor is just too good to miss, right? So this is the priority, try to make it happen, you will be really satisfied with the results, right? Now, let's move on. We have another artifact which is called Iron Tusk. Now, Iron Tusk is the artifact which is Marksman, PvP and Assault. We have a Marksman unit attack and Legion attack, which is pretty nice stats. Regarding Rapid Salvo, fires a hail of bolts forward. The cone deals diffused physical damage every second to 5 enemy legions, which is good, and the skill timing is 3 seconds. Basically, this and additional effect. When Bouncing Bolt deals damage, the Wilder deals 40%, well, 20% more hero skill damage, right? And Bouncing Bolt, there is only one hero which is dealing damage from the Bouncing Bolt, which is Falgrim, right? Regarding this artifact, there is one bad idea, same as Rattle Spear. Whenever you are using this artifact, you have to stand still. If you are going to move, you are going to cancel the Rapid Salvo. And trust me, only that effect that you have to stand still, same as Rattle Spear, is a huge disadvantage, right? Because trust me, that one feature will make your Legion die a lot of time, right? You're gonna get caught by the infantry, by the cavalry, and if you want to avoid that happening, you have to move, right? And when you are moving, you are not using the Rapid Salvo, you are not dealing damage, and you are not getting 20% hero skill damage. Now, regarding the heroes, of course, Falgrim should be the only hero which you have to equip the Iron Tusk, which is a little disadvantage also, right? Now, regarding the priorities, I would not say that you have to make Iron Tusk level 5, or it should be your highest priority. Even having Iron Tusk level 1, I believe it will be good enough. Of course, if you got lucky, just like me, and you got Iron Tusk from the Universal Artifact Compendium randomly, for sure you will be happy, right? But if you want to focus on the artifact, I believe Iron Tusk is not the choice which you have to put your attention, right? The next artifact which we have to mention is one of my favorite artifacts in the game. Gilded Crossbow, G4 Archer artifact, Assault Marksman unit attack, Legion attack artifact. And what's the unique thing about this artifact is of course skill, right? Deals diffuse damage to 3 legions within range and increases your march speed by 50%. You can move while skill is active. This one sentence you can move while this skill is active is huge, right? The amount of time this artifact saved my life, or the amount of time that I caught enemy legions when they are moving away and I catch them, this is huge, right? I don't even care skill damage factor, how much it is. The march speed bonus 50% and you can move while skill is active is one of the best features in all archer artifacts in the game, right? And we can easily compare to Rattle Spear and Iron Tusk and you will understand what kind of difference it has in the game. I believe you have to actually try this artifact in open field PvP and you will understand what kind of impact this 50% march speed bonus is going to have for your legion. And of course, one more important stuff, enemy HP bypass is one of the strongest offensive skill attributes in the game. You can check the legendary archer skin, which is enemy HP bypass. That's huge, right? And of course, one of the most important archer hero pairs, which are Magrat and Zaida. This is the best artifact for them, right? So in terms of priorities, one of the highest priorities in terms of investment, in terms of focus, even if you are a free-to-play player or pay-to-pay player. And as you can see, this is my only level 5 archer artifact in the game. This is how important this artifact is, right? And of course, if I have said regarding other artifacts, you can keep it level 1. I believe if you unlocked Gilded Crossbow, you should for sure try to make it level 5, because from 40% to 50%, that's pretty big increase, right? And I believe the march speed bonus and enemy HP bypass are the most important stats which Glittering Bolt has. So let's make a small conclusion, right? Let's make a small conclusion. The priority investment artifacts for the archer gameplay are Gilded Crossbow, because it's a G4 artifact and it's the first artifact which will come in terms of my priorities, and second highest priority is Roaring Rager. So out of all archer artifacts, I believe these two should be your primary choices. And of course, Magrat and Zaida and Ruby and Alan are also the highest merit getter artifact, my merit getter hero pair. So it's basically natural that they have really good artifacts by themselves. So to all of the free-to-play players and all pay-to-pay players, especially archer mains, my most important tips regarding archer artifacts is that Gilded Crossbow and Roaring Rager should be your primary investment choices. I hope the video was interesting and you find out more regarding artifact than before. And as always, if you like the video, press like, subscribe, share. It always gives me more and more motivation to make more content for this game. I wish everybody an amazing day, morning and night. We are going to see each other really soon. Bye bye and good luck.